Hello everybody, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and on today's video I'm going to go through the diagrammatic that I made about reality creation. Now, starting here, most important thing, the only important thing really. Who are you? You are source. You are the formless, infinite knowing. That's who you are. Every single time you think something, every single time you experience something, every single time you believe yourself to be that physically focused you, it's not true. It is an experience of reality. You are reality itself. You are the source of it. You are reality. You are the source of it. That's who you are. You are that literal, formless, infinite knowing. And that same formless, infinite knowing is one with the great, formless, infinite knowing that we call God, Source, the Father, just like you. Now, what's going on with the imagination, with what we call the ego, with the present physically focused experiencing of reality, and this past and present that we seem to be aware of, as well as our thoughts and our feelings? Every single thing that you are aware of, you are aware of it as it. It is the awareness that you are giving rise to it so you can know it. And the reason you want to know it is because it's the only way you, as source, can experience yourself. Everything that you know, everything that you come to consciously know, or even unconsciously know, it's a reflection. If you know it, it's not you. It is a reflection and an experiencing of who you truly are, source, right? It is basically who and what you are being. If it's the 3D physical, it's who and what you are being. If it's imagination, it is the true reality experience of who and what you are being as awareness itself. Awareness seeing itself as awareness in what it calls imagination. But it's just moving your awareness into the ever pristine, everlasting experiencing of that life that you desire to be living. And the ego is basically a thought system about reality. So it's basically thoughts about what you imagine, thoughts about the 3D physical present, thoughts about the illusionary past that you have in the present, and the thoughts about the illusionary future that you have in the present. And the present doesn't make those things. It's all coming from imagination, coming from source, right? All flowing perfectly and simultaneously into all of it. So, how can we see this a little more clearly? So, I have this idea, I love apples. Not entirely sure why I picked that one, but I did. Now, think about the phrase, I love apples. You think that you are the 3D physical you that is saying, I love apples because you are observing it, you are experiencing it. But think about the entire knowing that happened before you even heard yourself say, I love apples, before you said it physically or before you said it in your own mind. Where did the knowing of the whole sentence come from? Where does the knowing of any sentence come from? It comes from your infinite knowing of having the entire thing. The entire thing is unpacked, unfolded in your awareness, either in your imagination, which is what you are imagining, thinking, I love apples, in your where you consider your mind to be, and then you have thoughts about the phrase I love apples. I don't even like apples that much. That's the ego. It's basically other identities that relate to this one that are also coming from source. It's just more of you. It doesn't do anything. It's a manifestation already. But we call it ego because it seems to be separate from what we were wanting. So it seems like something else, but it's not. So I love apples. I don't. But it's just you. It's just more of you. And then you have emotional feelings toward I love apples and emotional feelings toward the thought of I don't love apples. So why did I think that? Because you as source is continuously flowing more of yourself, and it is determined by who you as source are consciously contemplating yourself to be. And all of it happens simultaneously. So when you think I love apples that's happening in your imagination from a formless infinite knowing. That that literal hearing it in your imagination, in your mind. And even your present self is experiencing the hearing of I love apples. Your physical self was unfolded in this illusionary experiencing of I heard myself say I love apples. Your physical self can never deny it. Why? Because it was created in that way that heard it. So even the saying I love apples is not a physical manifestation of you loving apples. The entire flow of it was from the knowing. So from your infinite knowing, you have the thought I love apples, right? And it's basically this formless thing. Now the entire experience of that little phrase, that affirmation, that imaginational act, that assumption that there's a version of you that loves apples. It's not Source saying it loves apples. Source is the creator. Source is the creation of it. You are the creator and the creation of it, saying, I'm choosing to be aware of a physical version of me that loves apples and everything associated with that. That's what's going on in your awareness mirror. That's what's happening. A version, you imagine a version of you having apples, having had apples, is having an apple now maybe, and then you have thoughts about that. And like I said, the 3D physically focused you is experiencing the unfolding of that affirmation simultaneously with you imagining it. Because it's all happening in your awareness simultaneously. We get a little confused because but I'm imagining holding an apple. Where's the apple? You see, your 3D physically focused viewpoint is unfolding that experience. And you know that because your 3D physically focused viewpoint unfolded knowing the experience that you were imagining, because it's all you happening simultaneously. So the big thing now, desire. What's desire? It's the same thing. It is literally the same thing. Desire is nothing more than the recognition that there is a physically focused you that is doing something that now you consider and want to do. That's all. It's coming from Source. It came as a formless knowing, and you expressed that formless knowing in your awareness for your own recognition of it. You imagined it. That's just, you imagined the wanting of this desire. You had ego, what you consider ego thoughts about it. I want it, I don't want it, it's not for me, it's for me, I can, I can't. All of that's just thoughts about it and referencing other versions and forms of yourself that have ideas about it. They don't matter. They don't do anything. It's just there. Right? It's information about the desire in every which way that it can inform you about it. Right? It's all you. And then your 3D physical focused self unfolded the experience of wanting the desire. Your 3D physically focused self unfolded the wanting of it. So what happened? Source, you gave yourself this experiencing of, hey, you desire this, or I desire this, or gave yourself the notification of the desire itself. And then you imagine some variation of wanting it. You had ego thoughts about it, and then your present physically focused you unfolded the experience of wanting it. All of that came from Source immediately. And you felt it all immediately. And then you went back and forth a little bit, right? But it's all coming from Source again and again and again. Even your past and your future, the projections of those from the physically focused present you exist from Source, flowing into itself, creating the illusion of the physically focused present you. That past and future doesn't exist. It's just there for context. Because when you are shifting, it's only that physically focused now moment that's shifting, and it already has an associated past with it. But the past and future don't matter because it's always changing. That's why when you revise, it's you as Source jumping into an entire timeline where that past matches the rest of the timeline, which is wherever you are physically, because all past, all future timelines, all present moments are all just one now moment overlapping on itself. So it's not like there's a past over there and a future over there and then somehow you're going to connect that to this. It's all happening here and now. So where was I? Yeah. So desire is basically experience. Like you have a desire and then you experience it in all of that, which is basically your own awareness of it. Then comes the shifting. My desire is something. Right? You became aware of that version of yourself. You experience the thoughts about it, you experience this and that about it, doesn't really matter. You just became aware, hey, I want this. I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to have this. And then you subsequently experienced everything about it all over in those seemingly separate experiences, but they're all one experience happening in one awareness, and that one awareness is a direct one-to-one expression of you as source. You, that infinite knowing, you are always and only ever that infinite knowing expanded into all of that. And remember, imagination is the true reality experience, because what you're experiencing in imagination is who you are completely and absolutely being. You don't have to worry about the ego, because you're not really controlling the flow and filtering of what that thought system is. Those thoughts that you are considering called the ego, it's nothing. It's a thought system about what's going on. And you don't flow the present, past, and future 3D experiences. It's all flowing as one experience from your source already, right? Not from imagination. It's flowing from source you. Your imagination is the expression of who and what you are choosing to be, right? You are basically experiencing in imagination your choice as source. Imagination isn't creating reality. It is the expression of what reality has already been created as. I am that I am. This is the moving, the shifting, the okay, I am shifting my viewpoint now. That's what happens. You have this infinite knowing of non-local saying yes, I am that I am. It is instant. You instantly imagine the being, doing, and having of your desire. So even if you hear the words I am that I am, it's already done before that. The words I am that I am is a chosen, sorry, it is the expression of your choice manifested already in your imagination. Those words, I am. It's already your consciousness, it's already your formless infinite knowing expressed as choice when you hear the words I am, because it must have already come from a knowing to be expressed. You didn't go write down I am and then say it. The fact that you can become aware of the words I am, the fact that you can hear the words I am in your mind, the fact that you can say the words I am, it's all instantaneous. And even when you imagine the words, no, I am who I say I am, that's coming from your source. And then the 3D physical focus to is happening at the same time. Whether it's saying it or not, it's being manifested as the entire reality experience, the version of you that said, yes, I am. The entire thing happens at once. Then you doubt it. Because why? Because we're silly, right? We silly things sometimes. Basically, that what we refer to as the ego is a thought system, because it says I am that I am, but I can't see it. That's just another version of you. Another version of you that does not matter. It doesn't matter because you can see where it is. It doesn't create. Everything after that line doesn't create. It is the expression of creation. Everything before that line is you as the creator. But remember, everything's happening inside you. That's not separate like how we see things in 3D. It's happening in one place. I just have it there so we can express it. So the physical you is manifested in the knowing of it in some way. So while you are sitting there physically, right, and you are being manifested as this version who is consciously and absolutely and utterly aware as well, that in your mind you are saying I am that I am, because that's all happening in one go. I really hope that's like landing today, because it was very fun when I came up with this. Now, why is this all happening? You see, you are a 0 point non-local, non-physical, without time attached to it, without anything, infinite knowing. You give beingness to everything. You can't see yourself. If I were to tell you, go look at your own eyes, I said, go look at your own eyes, how would you do it? You need a mirror. You need some sort of reflective surface, something to see into yourself, because you can't do it. Now, if you were everything, how would you how would you see yourself as everything? You would have to be nothing and consciously be aware of a version of you, that is actually being everything, while you are not being everything, knowing you are everything, looking at it. That's what you're doing. That's why you can't see yourself. That's why you need the reality mirror. So everything in your awareness is actually a mirror of yourself in some variation. No, but I'm not like that. It's not that you are like that when you're seeing things you don't like. It's part of reality creation, as in everyone and everything is you pushed out. So you are basically seeing your preference of reality and experiencing, and your non-preference of reality experiencing. So when you see something you don't like, and we see things all the time that we don't like, it's because there are variations of expression of love. And when you realize that you are the love of reality, your literal expression and experiencing of reality itself has to change, because it's you flowing love into all of that. Flowing love into your own imagination, flowing loving thoughts about the reality. Even when they are not loving, you treat it as love, knowing that, hey, this just exists, it doesn't matter. It's always love. Even in your present, you just decide to just be loving. Even when you get angry and frustrated and annoyed at something, and it happens, you don't beat yourself up, you show your physical self love. And it continues in that way. So that's what you're doing. And you can think about it with frankly pretty much anything that exists. How would it see itself? It requires a mirror. And if you were everything, in a literal sense, how would you see yourself? You need a mirror, and that mirror has to be everything. And last but not least, I am and I am not. What is that? You see, we have an idea of a dream life. We also have this idea that, hey, I can probably have a dream life in any way, shape, and form. So a dream life is basically a life that I want to live. But then what's I am and I am not? Well, I am is not referring to a specific life. It is referring to a self-concept you have about life. It basically means, if you know yourself as that I am awareness, that means wherever you imagine yourself, wherever you and whatever you are imagining yourself in the being, doing, and having, it simply exists, no matter where. You can picture yourself on any part of the planet, doing anything on the planet, and knowing that this is a new version of said world. That is I am, because that is true. You wouldn't be able to conceive of the idea were you not. What I am not then? I am not is the same thing, except you have to try to make that happen, and you don't believe that it already exists. But if I am exists, I am not can't exist, but then what is I am not then? It is an experience of it not existing. And you continuously experience the frustration, the anger, the annoyance, and the trying to beat reality into submission, trying to make your dream life exist. That's all. That's about it. Now, I hope that resonated. It was really fun to make. I'm probably going to go through it again at some point. But for now, thank you all for being here. Much love, much light. And thank you for the liking. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the emails. They're quite lovely. A lot of the emails actually coalesced into this idea as well, actually. So thank you for that. Thank you for joining the TikTok page. Thank you for joining the Facebook page. Thank you for being here. Much love, much light. And I will see you all on the next one.